Hi, I'm giving the mic guy a volume check.
Introduce your game and I'll just get the same for the game fix.
Alright, let's find one this. That is lovely. Alright, so this is Tales of Adventure. It's originally a Game Gear game. I'm playing it on the Sonic Gems collection for the GameCube. So remember, it's a Game Gear game. It looks like crap. It sounds like ass, but it's a lot of fun to play. With me is Worcester. So one quick note about this game: it's really like a Metroidvania, and then they just slapped the Sonic license on top of it. All right. Yeah, sure. 3, 2, 1. Let's jam. All right. So would you like to talk about the priority glitch?
Well, I mean, so for the first level, you're not going to see, like, this is how the game was pretty much meant to be played, apart from I guess the Infinite Fly might have been intentional as well.
The book manual tells you can do it.
Oh, okay, well, there you go. Yeah, I never had this game as a kid, but, yeah, it's very mundane for the first 2 minutes. It's just how the game plays. But then you pick up the remote robot, and the remote robot changes the whole game. But yeah, he was mentioning before the priority glitch. There's 2 different ways to activate it. Either you can activate the remote robot, the frame you climb a ledge, or I think it's the frame if you start flying before you hit the ground. Is that right?
Yeah, it's not quite like the frame. Like there's a little bit of wiggle room, but I don't know emulators well enough to figure out the exactness, so I just kind of jump and it works or it doesn't work.
Yeah, so there's a bit of ledge pushing he's using off the ground and in the air there, just to move him forward just a few pixels. So there's a fair bit of optimization in this game. But yeah, like I said, when you do either of the priority glitches, you get into a state where you're controlling both Tails and the robot at the same time. And as you can expect from a Game Gear game, it does not handle that very well at all. And that allows you to do a fair few sequence breaks within the game.
Let's see if I can actually get this.
And then, no. That's really unlucky. That works most of the time.
Yeah, I don't know.
I stopped doing that because it's so random.
So what was supposed to happen there is, after I picked up the Chaos Emerald, which gives us 10 more life, and we can fly a little bit longer, and it's also a full heal, I threw a bomb while ducking, and it was supposed to destroy all 3 blocks. But the bombs in this game are random and kind of crappy, and so it only destroyed the 1 block. But ideally, I was supposed to just start falling right after I threw the bomb. That was a really good boss fight.
Yeah, that was clean.
And it was just supposed to fall, and then as I was falling, I was going to start flying by holding up and hitting A, and then I just would have used like the downward momentum and catching the fly, and just kind of like, oh yeah, I got it all right. And then I just would have like swooped out to the boss area, but I didn't get it, so it is what it is.
Oh, see, there's actually 2 different routes that you can use. We both use 2 different routes. So there's one where you get the extra armor early, which gives you invincibility when you're in the ship, which you'll see later. That's the route that obviously Board's doing right now.
Yeah.
And there's another route you can do where you get the spark, which he just skipped, and you do some crazy stuff in Lake Rocky, which I do and die like 90% of the time. But yeah, once you get the remote robot and activate the glitch, there's 2 different priorities. There's the one where you're in control of both Tails and the robot, but if you then recall the robot while you're in the air, it still puts you in a different priority state where you can... Generally, it's to go up through walls, pretty much, but it does change the collision a lot. When you're in priority 1 and you're in control of both Tails and the robot, Tails can go through pretty much anything because it's taking the state of the robot, so Tails... But it still recognizes that Tails is where he's the main character. There it is, nice first go. So he changed from priority 1 to 2, so he can jump through this mesh of wall pretty much.
Yeah, you can jump into this wall without activating the glitch, but the only thing you can do is jump upwards, and then that pushes you into like the out of bounds zone between areas, and then you pretty much soft lock the game. But with the priority glitch on, like the ceiling pushes back against Tails, and you can jump through the wall.
So this is the other way of activating the glitch, is going off the ledge. The first way was the other way we mentioned. And so he stayed in priority 1 for a while just because it's quicker, but now this is priority 2 where you're just climbing through stuff.
And then I'm going to pick up a Chaos Emerald I normally wouldn't get. It's for marathon safety, and then more importantly, it's going to refill my life. because the next trick I'm gonna do, I have to impale myself on lava, which takes away like 4 or 5 life.
That's 4.
4. So the more life I have is the more tries I have before I have to give up and use a backup save I have, just in case like things go horribly, horribly wrong. But it also just means I've got more life to play with at the end of the game.
Oh, that was cute. That boost there right at the end.
I like that. Damn, I missed that. You can jump over that guy. The jumping here is actually kind of finicky. Like you can bunny hop up all those slopes, and thank you for that working.
Nice, that was clean.
Shit. And you want to talk about how Sonic zips?
Oh, Sonic is actually a really cool item that basically gives you spin dash, but so what he's doing now, he's trying to do a Sonic zip. Nice, got the clean one there. So basically, if you lodge yourself partway into a wall, more specifically with priority 2, it does help a lot, but you can just lodge yourself upwards like that to go through 2 thickness walls, where it's got, I don't know, it's pretty hard to explain, but you can see the game is made up of like, you know, just really simple blocks. And so 1 thickness blocks you can just jump through with priority 2, but Sonic zips are generally how you get through 2 thickness.
And then what happened there is I flew when Tails was off the screen, and that puts him back on screen for like, whatever reason. That's really cool because it lets us get back in bounds easily, and then I'll kill this guy now.
Yeah, so if you jump and fly while above the top of the screen, it puts Tails down at the bottom. As long as all of Tails' body is off the top of the screen.
Alright, and then this part is where the run, like, I don't do this route, but I do this trick in the 100% route. That hasn't worked, okay. I have to reload the area. So I was supposed to do a very precise spin dash, and I didn't really want to hit myself on the lava on the way out, but whatever. And so that area I was just in is a boss fight. So one of the bad parts of a boss fight is you can't use the remote robot, but we need to get out of bounds so we can kind of skip a boss fight and forego like going to like 4 other areas, and it saves like 7 minutes of gameplay. There we go. So what I'm doing is I'm doing some spin dashes to get Tails in like the perfect position, and then I need a very specific amount of spin dash here. So I'm choking on the audio cue here, and it's the only thing I've got is it's an audio cue, and if I miss it, I miss it.
Yeah, so for whatever reason, the collision that you go through off the blocks changes pretty much every single frame. So what he's doing is he's charging the spin dash for an exact amount of time so that the collision that he gets off the blocks puts him through the top of the wall, and then from that he can do a bit of it's sort of tricky but feasible out of bounds stuff.
All right, so hopefully this is the attempt. All right, and I have enough life to do it one more time, and then I've got a safety save right on the other side of the out of bounds region because I knew this would be the part I would completely choke at. So like we don't. This is the slower any percent route. It's like at least 50, maybe a minute and a half slower. I've never bothered to time it. But during a 100% route, I do this because it saves time of going.
There we go.
Awesome.
Nice.
Okay, we nailed it. Oh, not nailed it, but it didn't have to load a save. But I do it at the 100% route because it's faster than going and throwing stuff in your inventory to fight this boss as normal. And so you get out of bounds, and then you have to duck, and then you jump off the top of the screen, which kind of screws with the camera angle. And then when you just move the camera to the left, and then the game knows where you are, but the camera is in the wrong place. What am I doing? I need to go back. And then so the camera isn't where Tails is. So like we were saying before, you can fly to put Tails back in bounds. Well, we fly, and then it puts Tails back in bounds where the camera is. And it happens to be right above a boss fight. So you can duck inside the out of bounds area we were, and you scroll down the screen enough such that you can, like when you fly, like on top of the ceiling, like it pushes Tails inside the wall, and then you can just drop out of your fly, and you're right where the extra armor is. So that saves. What am I doing? Damn it! This area is very, very laggy. It drops a lot of input, and it doesn't help that I'm a little bit flustered from screwing up that trick a couple times. So this is about the worst movement you'd ever see in this area, and I apologize for that. But yeah, I think
Nice.
did I cover all that?
Yeah.
mostly.
Oh, you can just get stuck in the wall there from those blocks as well. That happens a lot, and you just have to go back and restart it again.
Yeah, the current world record run does that, and it wastes like 7 seconds, and it's horrible because it's like 7 seconds went down the drain just because of bad, whatever the hell, the game just didn't like you that day. And one thing about switching from the robot being in control to Tails being in control, you can jump and cancel the robot, or you can do a spin dash. But you have to wait for the robot to catch up to you because the camera still follows the robot. And so you can be off spin dashing, but if the robot didn't catch up to you, Tails is going to hit a wall, you're going to go nowhere, and then the game's going to lag a lot because it doesn't like the robot being out while Tails is moving. And that one area is kind of nasty for lag.
The other thing to mention is the camera moves very slow compared to Tails, and it's just following the robot at the robot speed. And when you're using Sonic, obviously you're going a lot faster than the camera. And if you're going anywhere down, if Tails touches the bottom of the screen, you take a death and exit the level, which can cost a lot of time in certain places.
All right, and I just want to give shout-outs to one of my stream watchers, Diligent Dodo. He helped me with like the first spin dash in that area. It seems really obvious and trivial, but the method I was doing way before was like hella inconsistent. And he was also the person that asked me if I knew what the priority glitch was. And I was like, no, what is that? And then like 20 minutes later, I was playing around with it. And then, I don't know, 4 hours later that night, I had a route that priority glitched the hell out of everything. And this is the second boss of the game. His name is Speedy. He's a dick. I think he's based on your movements, but I mean, I can't be asked to keep in the same position all the time, so I just kind of move around. And the idea is you avoid him as he comes down at you. And then these little leaves on screen right now are like wind currents. So sometimes you get really lucky wind that just pushes you straight to the top. All right, that was okay. So the idea is you have to just get to the top of the screen and then not get hit too many times. And I'm kind of getting hit too many times, but whatever.
Yeah, all getting hit really does is just waste time.
And then I ended the boss fight towards the end of a boss attack cycle, so when Tails crossed the ground plane, he started flying to a specific position, but if the boss is still doing an attack pattern, you can put Tails in the right position, and that saves a good chunk of time, because then, like originally I used to end the fight on the right side of the screen, and then Tails would, like, fly all the way to the other place, and it wasted, like, I don't know, like 10 seconds. And then for fighting that boss, he gives us a Chaos Emerald, and I hit the stick, that's nice. And then, in addition to that, our robot turns into a submarine. And I know nothing about Sonic canon, but Tails did have a submarine in the comics. I remember that much.
Yeah, it's called the Sea Fox.
Sea Fox, thank
yeah.
you.
There you go. But yeah, this is now Lake Rocky. It's pretty simple because he's got the extra armor, but there is still one tricky thing that he's got to do. So before...
I'm just gonna cheese it.
Oh, you're not gonna do it?
I'm gonna do it the simple way. Like I'm just gonna clear out everything, so it's not as fast. Like
oh no. Well, yeah. I mean, still something to talk about. So basically, you're meant to get an item called the mine, so that you can destroy blocks below you. But the proton torpedo, which is what he's using right now, has homing. So basically, he's going to manipulate these two enemies up here, so that the proton torpedo homes in on one of the enemies, then misses, and then destroys blocks below him.
Yeah, Worcester's got a really incredible setup for this trick that I have yet to figure out how to steal. And then I didn't move the screen right enough to despawn the duck, so he'll come back again.
Yeah.
And so then we're just going to kind of wait, and then we're going to shoot a missile, and it's going to crash into the floor. And the reason I killed everything else at the top of the screen, you can not do that, and it's much faster, but the missile has a tendency to lock on the crap above you, and that's just no bueno, because then your missile doesn't go where you want, and then you end up killing the wrong duck or something. It's bad. And then I'm not going to put on the extra armor just yet because it causes a lot of lag, so I've got more than enough life to tank that one hit right there, and then hopefully I don't screw up the next part. So do you want to talk about the armor skip, like the kind of movement and stuff is needed, or?
Yeah, so every one of these lasers do 10 damage, and in the next room there are then mines, which, regardless of whether they hit you or not, or whether you have invincibility frames because you just got hit, they still do damage, unless you have the extra armor on, which is utterly ridiculous. So basically, if you don't get the extra armor, it is possible to go through this part, but...
That mine right there.
Yeah, you've got to despawn one of the mines. Well, you don't have to. You can also see there's going to be another part that he'll go through soon where there's like, I think it's 12 lasers all aiming at you, and you can use the spark to take out the lasers. But the issue with spark is you can't mash it. It has a cooldown period, and it's also very inconsistent with input delay, and sometimes you'll use it and it won't actually take out the lasers, it'll just flash and do absolutely nothing, which is cool. But I think every single run I've done with, so this is the place right here,
that right there,
little corridor where you've got all that just flying at you. Every single run I've done, I've accidentally not despawned the mine or I've taken damage, and then I've just gone through that part without taking damage by complete accident.
And that one pipe is the only thing in the game you're supposed to use the proton torpedo for, but we just use it in lieu of the mine because we can, and it saves going to an island that, it's, I don't know, it's long and there's a boss fight at the end, and I don't know. We're going fast, we're skipping most of the content in the game because it's a Metroidvania and you can do that.
Yeah.
Alright, and then usually, like when I'm doing like real 80% runs, this is the part of the game where I choke because like I just finally did the stupid extra armor skip, and then you have to do three jump activations of the priority glitch in a row. And some days I'll be playing and I'll get this like 3 out of 4 attempts, and then like the first time I did the armor skip, I think I lost like a minute and a half trying to do this stupid trick. So like Worcester is not a big fan of it, and I don't blame him because like I don't know what I do. I just kind of do it and it works.
Yeah.
And then, shit, okay.
Dang.
As that block breaks, you're supposed to jump with the robot, and then he keeps falling, but I mistimed the jump, so then I had to jump a lot to make tails appear on screen.
Ooh.
That was bad. Okay, so we're gonna have to do that. There we go.
Nice. That was actually really clutch to save that. Going through a 2-block with tails is actually extremely difficult without doing like a sonic zip. And if he didn't get that before his flight meter ran out, that would have been a death, because there was just nothing below him.
Yeah. And then also at the end of the run, there's 3 more of those, which are faster than the old ride I was doing. Like I watched Worcester, and then I figured out what the hell you're actually supposed to do to zip through those, and then thanks for getting shot. And then with the robot out, you can go through the left wall, so we just skipped a boss fight there. Usually the robot goes and kills the boss by dropping a rock on his head, and then it hits the switch, which opens the door. But instead, you pull out the robot while Tails can move, and then you can just fly through the door. So it's kind of cool. But Worcester has some other crazy setup that...
Yeah, there's also another method. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but there's this method where if you hit one of the spikes and then during your invincibility frames, you jump into one of the lasers that fall down, it thinks the boss died, but the door is still there. But if you grab the door you grab the ledge below the door, you kind of just clip upwards and it just thinks... it loads the loading zone because it thinks the boss is dead and you're just finished with the level for whatever reason. I have no knowledge why it works. It's totally random. You'll do it sometimes and it'll work and other times it won't.
Yeah. And then there was like 37 seconds of auto-scroller, so it was the perfect place to talk about stuff. Usually it's where I try and calm my nerves in the actual run. And then here I have 50 life and I want to leave this area with 30, and everything on this screen does 5 damage. So I'm going to play like stop and go below some of these shooter dudes, and then at a certain point I'm just going to start taking damage because I know there's enough shooter dudes I've stopped in front of, and it's all good. So now at this point I can just tank most of the rest of the hits. The only guy you want to get hit by is him because there's 2 ducks in a row. So if you get hit by the first guy, you can just hold up through the second one. And I do this because instead of having just, like, you could just go straight up. Why did I go up? You can just hold straight up through here with 50 life and you'll end this screen with 5 life. But then you have to go back to Tails' house to heal. And I mean, I haven't timed it, but my gut says that stopping in front of a couple things for like half a second is a little bit faster than the 7 seconds it takes to go back to Tails' house and heal.
It's definitely faster because taking damage does cause a little bit of lag as well.
Alright, and then here, I'm going to try and do the strat I did steal from Worcester. I didn't get it, okay, but whatever. So you can, if you spin dash at the right spot, you'll actually zip through a good punch of the level. And I saw you do it, so I mean, I think it's your strat.
No, I mean Sonic through there. I just kind of fly. I don't understand why. Like, I just learnt that then.
Oh, is Sonic is that faster? Like, is flying faster? Like,
no, it's not. That's why I'm asking.
Oh.
Why do I do that?
Oh yeah, no, I spin dash, and then after like a second, I restart the spin dash.
That's much better.
And then this is the second of the I don't know. It's the second part where I clip through these walls. I've got a little bit of a visual cue. I kind of like go in this black zone, and then I go up, and then I don't know if it's because I've got a bad height or because it's like a 50-50 shot depending on where Tails is oscillating. You won't see it on stream because of it's not in 60 frames per second or whatever the hell this game runs at. But on my screen, like Tails flickers back and forth between this wall and then the wall to the right, and it works because you're in this spot and then you're like pushed up against a solid wall and then you push up and then you kind of like just wedge your way into the background or into the nether space, and because like the right wall is keeping you in place, and then it just ejects you upwards. So that's why I was able to like save that one thing, is because I've been doing a lot of that in my runs. This is the same boss fight from before that we were flying up against. There's just so many places where you can throw bombs at him. I hit the C stick because I'm stupid, but that's okay. I hit it again by accident. And
you only had one. You could have gone the quick kill there.
Yeah, I don't. Where do you throw it for the last one for the quick kill?
Oh, you can go on the top left and get him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've never chased him for there.
Yeah, you just throw and get hit. It saves a few seconds because while he's going through his attack pattern, he still goes through his attack pattern and refuses to stop exploding.
Okay. And then this is the final boss of the game. When this area loads, I actually move to the right a little bit because it resets my position, and this has been a bad first phase. Because I used to just stand in the perfect spot where he wouldn't hurt you, and then I would try to jump.
Oh wow.
Bad luck. I've been having bad luck against this guy every time.
Dang.
And
so,
then,
oh wow. Yeah.
Anyways, so I would try and jump, and the game would eat my jump input because you're flying when you come into this this boss, man.
It's completely random when he does those bomb attacks. If you get good luck, he never does one throughout. That's time.
And
oh, do it whenever.
Time.
Yeah, time.
2037.
Nice.
Nice.
Awesome. But anyways, it eats my jump input, and then the boss grabs me, and it always makes me sad. Anyway, so that was Tails Adventure. Thank you for the commentary, Worcester.
No problem.
That's all I got. I think up next is going to be a very hype Mega Man X2 race with Jimmy, Countdown, and
Fat homie.
Fat Homie. I don't know. Is everyone ready?
Yeah, I guess.
Random trivia.
They're at
I'm pretty
breakfast.
confident
I
that
should
the
go
Sea
grab
Fox
one.
debuted in Sonic Triple Trouble, right? Or
It's in Triple Trouble. I think this game might have come first. I have no idea.
This game.
It was pretty late
This
on the
game
Game Gear,
includes
actually.
Fang. Is that one of the items you can pick up? And he's a character. I thought he
That's
was first
true.
introduced in Triple Trouble.
He's